Welcome to the pregame show before the USN FRA game. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good, Aiden.
How
about yourself?
I'm doing great. We saw a really great game against GCA. Unfortunately, we did not win, although we all predicted that we would. First time I've been wrong on this particular show. It's a tragedy. So let's switch gears a little bit into what you guys saw in that game. What were some of your key takeaways?
I think USN really just didn't get the start that we wanted. We were kind of down the entire game and had to fight back. But I think if we were in a better position from the start, we would have been in a much better position to win the game.
I think, and I agree with you, GCA shot the lights out in that first quarter. I think they only missed like one shot. And that really it didn't help us. That we were also scoring, but not on their level, and that set us back the whole game. Let's talk about our defense and kind of what we were able to accomplish there.
Yeah, I think that, for the most part, I think our defense did a fine job in contesting shots and making it hard for the GCA offenses to get easy shots. But it really came down to a matter of they just shot better than us. We found open shots, but we just couldn't hit them, and our shooters couldn't capitalize. And I think that's just how we lost.
And I want to just take a second to recognize guys like Austin and Khalil, who were absolutely huge on defense. Austin had a huge block. He got called a foul, which I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was a block in my book.
Well, the referee was making terrible calls on that.
And there was a lot going on with the technical part. Like a coach got thrown out of the game. It was really interesting, really fun to watch. If you weren't there, maybe go watch our stream. Eddie, talk about the offense a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think it was strong for most of the game. It was really just came down to the end of the game. Shots weren't falling for the guys. I know in talking with Colin, like he said, they had several opportunities to win the game, to tie it, bring it to overtime. But when the pressure was on, the team just didn't make the shots. But again, I think they played a strong game, not like the team struggling right now, but they just got to capitalize on the opportunities they get.
And you can't really, it's hard to win a game when the other team is shooting 70% from three, it felt like the entire game. So, they still clawed their way back and got within three, but it was going to be a tough game to win with the way that they were shooting.
Yeah, and I think a killer at the end there was we were not shooting well either. What were we? 3 for 20 from the 3-point line, and that's just something that's going to really inflict damage in these upcoming games if we're not able to put up points from around the arc when we have so many shooters.
Yeah.
That's really going to take away from our potential in this game. Let's talk about Mahoney. He's been kind of on a dry spell with the 3 shooting. He was so dominant coming off winter break. What do you think's going on with him?
I think that you go through ups and downs as players. You have some bad days, you have some good days. But I think at the end of the day, and I like Coach Jones' decision to keep him in, because at the end of the day, if you have a good shooter like that on your team, then you have to keep turning back to him and keep relying on him, and hopefully he gets it going. But I think that the biggest thing is just to put more trust in them. Shooters are going to shoot, and sometimes you hit the yips, sometimes you get mental problems, but you just have to push through and trust yourself.
Yeah, I agree with Noah. The worst thing you can do when you're in a dry spell is just stop shooting.
Right.
So I think Mahoney's proven that he can shoot, and you just got to keep doing it. He'll figure it out.
I also think from a coaching standpoint, a way to get him back into his groove is to maybe drop a few plays for him, just to free him up for an open 3 or something like that to get him going. I feel like that could help a guy like him's confidence a lot.
Yeah, and this is for all. This goes for all of these players. Is learning to move without the ball is such a huge part of their offense. And if we have stagnant players not moving to come to the ball, we need to want the ball to score. And if we have guys just standing in the corners, that's not doing anything but giving the defense a chance to understand what you're doing. Moving without the ball is such a key part of an offense, and if they're not doing it, then that's just going to inflict damage. let's talk a little bit about FRA and what we've seen from them. We did beat them in their own house a few weeks ago. You know, I don't think that they were the team that they were last year, but they are still our rivals. Talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, I was talking to Khalil this morning, and he was talking about their key players, EJ and BJ. EJ, I saw it on Max Preps, leads the team in basically every category from shooting to rebounds to assists.
Wow.
So we got to stop him. And then BJ also is a good shooter, and you know they just got to limit him. But I have faith in the Tiger defense. They've been good all year, and I think they'll do the same stuff tonight.
I'm adding on to that. I'm excited to see guys like Quinn and Bennett play tonight because I know they're starting each of the halves, and I think they were key pieces at the start of the season off the bench, and I don't really know why they just stopped playing. But I mean, I'm excited to see what they can do tonight.
Yeah, and I agree. But I also agree to Eddie's point. I think that the Tigers are get it done. You know, I haven't done as much research as you, but I have heard that FRA are not the best team, and I think that the Tiger D will just be too strong for them.
Yeah, and that's been one of the biggest improvements I've seen. Something I was very impressed with was their ability to defend these tough guys to defend. And I think after that game against Providence, I believe they had two guards that were just driving to the lanes, and they've made such an improvement since that game. And I think they're gonna give these two stars a run for their money. They're gonna give them a hard time to score these 20 points that whatever they're scoring. And I think those are guys that you put Khalil on, or Colin, or Clay. Guys that are able to defend these tough asks. Well, you guys want to take some picks?
Sure, Aiden. No, why don't you go first?
Well, I said it before. I think the Tigers will get it done. I guess to go a little more specifically, I think that the Tigers, it will be a blowout. And to be honest, this is not a prediction. This is more of a guarantee. I think the Tigers will win by at least 20 points.
Yeah, I agree with Noah in that they'll win. However, I do think it will be a 10-point or under win. But the reason I think we're going to win is because the personnel matches up perfectly for us with the two teams. Their two best players are guards. We happen to have two of our best defenders as guards in Khalil and Austin. I just think they can shut them down and we can win. So
yeah, I'm gonna split the difference on those guys. I think it's over 10, but less than 20. I think the Tigers get the win though. They're just gonna be fired up after that loss to GCA. Have experience against FRA, but really can't take them for granted. But I think at the end of the day, the defense comes out on top.
I hate to see our picks so one-sided today, but what I will say is that whenever we say there's going to be a blowout, we're wrong, because the Tigers tend to play down to the level of their opponent or play up to the level of their opponent, and we've lost games to teams that we should not be losing to, and we've beaten teams that maybe are a little better than us. And I think this is a 5-point game that comes down to free throws, and just like every other game that's been in this season. And I think it's going to be a really close one. I think Tigers are pulling it out. Came off a tough loss on homecoming. They're hungry. They want to get their seniors a win for senior night. It's a Tiger W, but it's not by much. Well, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you come out and support our seniors tonight, Tuesday night, 7:30 for boys,
6 for girls.
6 for girls. As always, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Tigers.
Tigers.